All right, we are back for good vibes with our transformational coach, Debbie Cox DeNova. Debbie, good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, I can't wait for these topics. So many people love these topics. I guess we're getting out the box, right? So
Absolutely,
to speak. That's
yeah.
good stuff. All right, so activating main character energy.
Main character energy. So a lot of people at home have probably heard about main character energy. This caught on social media not too long ago, and it really connects to people as living your life as though you're the main character of your own story, right? And I think this connects to people because at the end of the day, we all want to feel like we're living a story that's inspirational and emotionally satisfying and exciting sometimes, right? And we all want to feel like we're not the background character of our own stories, but unfortunately a lot of people are feeling that way. They sort of feel like they're living someone else's life on automatic. So I'd love to talk today about how to activate main character energy so that you are excited about the story that you're telling and that you can live it in a way that is, you're romanticizing your life and feeling fulfilled in your day-to-day.
So people want to be Reese Witherspoon and I don't know, old Burt Reynolds. If you're watching, you're a little older. They want to be the lead person.
Some people do want to be that. Now, this is really an important distinction to make. Okay, there's two things that I'd like to say. First of all, you don't have to be an extrovert. You don't have to be somebody who is, on fire with personality. You don't even have to be the hero if you don't want to. We all have a very important story, a worthy story to tell in the world. And yours may be a very quiet story, but romanticizing it such that it feels emotionally satisfying to you is really important. And creating a vision that you can step into and allowing your authentic self to come through. In my coaching, a lot of what I talk to people about is living from the inside out, living from your own blueprint, right? A lot of us get stuck in these cycles where we're living out of programs that we never examined. So now we're going and we're doing the job that was expected of us. We're doing all the things that a mom is supposed to do, that a friend is supposed to do. And a lot of it feels out of alignment with what's trying to come through. And so this is really a call to tap back into your authentic self. What vision is trying to come through you? What programs can you hold up to the light of truth and examine and ask yourself, is this the way I want to live? Or do I get to create something else?
But you talked before about listening to your gut.
Yes.
Listening to your instinct, your guts, and what's driving inside.
Yes, listening to the still small voice that's coming from the inside and connecting to a vision from that place that actually compels us enough to take action, consistent action past obstacles that happen in life is really important. Some other things that we need to keep in mind is that, some people connect main character energy to this sort of egotistical, I'm the main character of everybody's story, right? They call that main character syndrome. So it's important to note that every single individual has their own worthy story to tell, no matter who they are. And when we're talking about main character energy, we're talking about living the main character of your specific story. Okay, so not trying to take over everybody else's story and make yourself the center stage of their story, but what is your story? So the other thing to remember is that all stories have ups and downs, right? Joseph Campbell identified 3 specific parts of every hero's journey that you've ever heard throughout time of the greatest stories. So there's the separation, okay? There's the initiation, and then there's the return. So they're living a standard life that maybe doesn't feel so satisfying. They're living kind of a lower standard of who they could be. And then destiny sort of summons the hero, right? And sometimes at first, the hero doesn't take the call. A lot of times, actually, the hero doesn't take the call. But if you don't take the call, and a lot of people aren't taking the call, there's a dissatisfaction and eventually an unhappiness that happens in your life. If you answer the call, then you go out into your journey and you face your obstacles, you face the nemesis, you come back with something, you return home, right? That's the final piece of the story. You return home with something that has transformed you and that can continue your transformation process and something that you can share with the world. So it's important to know that in a hero's journey or in a main character story, it's not always about highs. We kind of tend to think about like it just always being happy, and then we don't give ourselves space to actually live a life of ups and downs. There are going to be days where you're grappling with challenges. If you're on your own internal hero's journey, so to speak, you may be, your nemesis or your obstacle may be a shadow aspect of yourself that you are having the courage to face instead of going into avoidance patterns like going into your cell phone or watching TV TV or eating, the emotions away. It may be you putting everything down and actually sitting with emotions and processing traumas and actually going to healing and then returning home with that healing for the rest of your journey.
I think as we're winding this segment down, I've covered about 8 parish presidents. Now, most people, when they're dealing with the current parish president has to be out in front. He has to be lively. He has to go to functions. He has to talk. He has to keep people up. But when they retire, most of them disappear.
Yeah, and they could disappear from the public eye and continue on a specific hopefully an inspired continuation of their story that's less out of the center stage, if you will. And that's why it's so important to note that being the main character of your story doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have all eyes on you or be out on center stage.
Which always made me think, were they the real person when they were parish president, or did they become the real person that they were when they had to get out the lights?
We all have different aspects of ourselves.
I'm thinking big families.
Yeah.
There's always a front person in the family, and there's always the one in the family that's going, man, I'm sort of stuck in the background here, but I want to be in the front.
Yeah, and so and some people who are not center stage are feeling quite satisfied with that, right? If there is someone that is in the background and they're feeling like they want to be center stage, then that means that there's a violation. There's a way that they want to be behaving in their own life, and they're operating out of a different way of being. And the reason that happens is because we're so linked to, in part, is because we're so tribally linked. Like we really do seek bonding and belonging and social approval, and to the point where there was a study done where they put people in an fMRI machine and they simulated an experience where people were being left out of a game. So they're playing a game with people, and then slowly people start to remove their attention and ignore the person. And what they found was that the part of the brain that lights up whenever we're in physical pain actually lit up when they were rejected in this simulation. So it's the dorsal anterior cingulate lit up, and it was. And we talk about rejection and social isolation. There's a lot of the same language of pain, right, that we use to describe physical pain and the emotional pain of being rejected. And this is true even when they did studies on people where strangers were rejecting or ignoring people, or a computer, or even people that people despised morally, like a KKK member. The feeling of being rejected and socially abandoned produced internal emotional pain no matter who was doing it, computer, stranger, person that they despised, right? So it's very, very linked up. It's important for people to understand what's at play here so that they can override it and understand that even though it's linked to survival within us, that there are many ways for us to experience belonging. Studies show that once you're rejected in real life, you have this, right afterward, this need to strengthen social bonds. And what happens is you start to become more compliant. You start to want to copy other people, emulate their lives in order to strengthen social bonds again. But what can happen then is that you become afraid of living your own life, of becoming unique and standing out, because it will trigger that experience of social rejection and isolation. So if you know this is at play and you know that you can survive it, then you can do all the things that can help you to fall in love with your life again.
And I've always watched when I've interviewed people, and I've done it for so many years now, I can see people that truly have joined something because they want to make a difference and they have a goal and they have a position they want to take. And there's others that join for the social aspect of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's pretty easy to pick out.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, whatever drives you and whatever motivates you, we're all individuals, and there's nothing good, bad, right, or wrong about
Correct.
it, but just make sure that it resonates within you. Another way to romanticize your life is to add music. So pick playlists that are going to help support you in whatever it is that you're doing. If it's a business playlist, if it's a workout playlist, what we know is that human beings are extremely, extremely influenceable by music. We're actually linked in to where the rhythm of the music is actually linked to our movement, the movement aspect of our brain, even when we're not actually in movement. So we're highly influenced. So you can just pick music that inspires, and it's very, very individual. So some people don't like certain music, and other people just get lit up. So choose a playlist that actually is unique to you, and then dress how you want to dress. The reality is a lot of people are afraid of social judgment, but most people just don't care. The reality is most of us, or all of us, are so concerned with our own world that we're not out there judging other people the way your ego kind of tells you.
You know what changed? I used to wear a coat and a tie all the time. You know what changed that?
Right.
COVID.
There you go.
We started doing things, Skyping things, and everybody started just relaxing and being themselves. And I see so many people now wearing golf shirts to work. And
Yes.
if I feel comfortable wearing this warm up and interviewing Debbie, that's what I'm gonna do. But I know when to dress and all that. But it sort of eased our restrictions.
Absolutely. And you should dress to impress yourself, because there was that thing called enclothed cognition. Remember, we talked about that before. There was a study done where participants were dressed two separate ways: in regular clothes, and then regular clothes with a white lab coat, a doctor's coat on top of it. And when they did mental agility test, the ones with the doctor's coat on actually had half of the mistakes than the ones just dressed with ordinary clothes. And more interesting than that is that when they took all participants in the study and they put white lab coats on all of them, but told half of them that they were wearing a painter's smock, and the other half that they were wearing a doctor's lab coat, the ones who believed they were wearing the doctor's lab coat actually outperformed the other ones in brain games. So it's all about what the association that you have to what you're wearing. Wear what feels good to you. If you want to go to the grocery store in one of your fine dresses, that's for women, of course, do that. If you want to go in your suit, then you can do that. If you want to go to work and you feel like wearing pajama pants, if it's allowed, certainly don't want to.
I won't be at Rouse's with pajama pants.
But the point is, and children do this quite naturally too, wear what feels good to you, what activates the best aspects of yourself, because it really is about activating that higher vibration so that you're actually feeling better and you're bringing better energy to the world.
Well, all right, Dr. Debbie. I appreciate that. That's good stuff. And you thinking about the next time you come, what we're going to be talking about, or have we decided yet?
Oh, I haven't decided yet. We'll find out.
You'll just catch that emotion somewhere. And
I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to suggestions.
All right, there you go. All right, thank you, Debbie. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll have more next week. Good vibes right here on HTV with our transformational coach, Debbie, right here. She does a great job. We'll be back.